What if time only moved when you moved? At first, it sounds like the ultimate superpower. You could live forever, avoid every accident, and never miss a deadline again. But the longer you think about it, the weirder and darker it gets. Let's imagine you wake up one morning and realize that time around you only progresses when you are physically moving. The instant you stop, everything freezes. The clock halts. The air stops flowing. A dripping faucet becomes a perfect glass bead in midair. Birds hang motionless in the sky, and even sound disappears into silence. The world becomes an infinite photograph. Naturally, your first reaction would probably be excitement. You could walk through a crowded street, pause, and suddenly everyone becomes statues. No traffic, no noise, no responsibilities, just you and total control of time. You could sneak into places, read everyone's texts, eat for hours without gaining a second of age. For a while, it would feel like heaven. But then you'd realize that heaven is a pretty lonely place. Because when you stop moving, when you try to rest, nothing else can. You can't sleep because sleeping means not moving. And if you're not moving, time isn't moving either. You'd lie in bed forever, eyes closed, body frozen, never actually falling asleep. You'd just be trapped in an endless moment of almost sleep. So maybe you try to cheat the system. You rock back and forth in tiny motions to keep time moving, just enough to let your body process exhaustion and dreams. But every second of real sleep would require constant motion. Maybe you'd invent some kind of machine that shakes you gently, keeping time alive while you rest. Congratulations, you've just invented the world's most existentially horrifying sleep aid. Now think about food. If time only moves when you move, then heat doesn't spread, water doesn't boil, and chemical reactions stop. You could lift a spoonful of soup toward your mouth, but the steam would hang perfectly still. It would never cool down. Your coffee would stay forever at exactly 93 degrees Celsius, which sounds poetic until you realize you'd burn your tongue forever too. You could still eat, technically, chew, swallow, digest, but only if you keep moving the whole time. Your metabolism depends on time passing, so if you stop walking or fidgeting, digestion halts mid-bite. You'd become a perpetual motion-eating machine just to stay alive. Social life? Forget it. Conversations would be one-sided. You'd move and talk, but the moment you pause to listen, everyone would freeze. You could finish a sentence, then walk around someone to see their frozen expression mid-reply. The only way to hear what they say would be to constantly pace back and forth, each step pulling a fraction of sound out of their mouth like a reluctant thread. A single conversation could take days. You'd quickly learn that communication is exhausting when it's literally powered by your legs. And then, there's aging. Because if time only moves when you move, your lifespan isn't measured in years anymore. It's measured in footsteps. The less you move, the longer you live. If you stood still forever, you'd be immortal, but stuck in one moment for eternity. The ultimate trade. Infinite life. Zero experience. Somewhere you might try to find balance. Maybe you'd invent a schedule. Move for an hour a day to let the world catch up, then freeze again to rest. You'd become a ghost haunting the flow of time, watching centuries pass between blinks. Empires would rise and fall in what feels like an afternoon walk. You'd witness the end of humanity, then the cooling of the earth, the fading of the stars, the slow heat death of the universe, all stretched out across your lifetime of movement. But of course, even that lifetime ends, because eventually you'll want to stop. You'll stop to think, to breathe, to simply exist without effort. And the moment you do, the instant you stop moving, the universe will pause with you, forever. In the end, the question isn't, what if time only moved when you moved? The question is, would you ever dare to stop?